You've been to some of those meetings. Haven't you
So
been to
now I
one?
feel them.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was great. Knock shit out.
You are about to enter a layer of reality not measured by time or distance, but by perception. It begins with a thought, a flicker in the mind, and opens into a space where logic bends. This is not the future. This is not the past. This is the echo between awake and sleep. Welcome to ZONED.
You know, the first time that I had met you,
Yeah.
I was like, oh my goodness, I'm here with Nick Knight, you know? And we were sitting at a table, and while we were talking, you were organizing the table a little bit. And actually, you were organizing the table to take a photo of me.
Yeah.
And that really kind of hit me hard, because I was like, this guy is like, he's like a scientist, you know? But do you take it as when you're taking photos, is it a science or is it a vibe? Because they're two total different things.
Good question. I tend to respond by saying it's a science.
Yeah.
Because I was a scientist before I was a photographer, as you might or might not know. I trained or started training as a doctor. Mm-hmm. But I came from a scientific background. My parents are scientists.
Yeah.
In the way that there isn't a right or wrong. When you do a scientific experiment, you're trying to perhaps prove a theory you might have.
Hypothesis.
But if it
right?
comes out completely different, that is the answer.
Yes.
And therefore you change your hypothesis or you modify your hypothesis. And so I do approach photography in that way. But then there's a whole emotional thing in photography which I personally do not understand.
Yeah.
So, the moment I was taking your photograph, I'm not really seeing you, I'm feeling you.
Yeah.
It's you want to happen, and you're putting a lot of energy into the situation to make it happen. When I photograph, I'm quite physical, so I tend to move quite a lot, and I tend to really sort of try and mirror my sitter to give them some sort of physical direction. It's like if you create a melody, it's you take one note out, the melody falls apart.
Yes.
It's the same thing with photography. You create your image, and if you just cover up a bit of it with your thumb, you'll see that the image doesn't work. So you need everything to be balancing. So you're creating these visual harmonies, if you want. And that's when it gets tricky, when people interfere a bit in your work and start saying, we get this quite a bit with different people we work with. So, the cuff's a bit
Exactly, the client,
short. It
right,
needs to be a bit
nowadays.
longer. And you think, okay, but that's going to change the composition, and that'll change the overall harmony of the picture, and it will not be as beautiful. Your whatever it is, shirt or whatever you're talking about, might be better represented, or more of it, or more. But it won't make the picture more powerful. It'll take away from the beauty of the picture, and you'll take away from the way that picture becomes meaningful for other people.
So in your world, does the digitalness of it enhance, or does it, how do you feel about it?
I'm 100% for it.
Okay.
Because it's where we are.
Okay.
It's life. We're no longer coating sheets of glass with wet collodion, because that's not what life is. Photography is a very good medium, or image making, because that's appropriately what you. I'm totally at ease with all different formats. I don't hate digital, I don't love digital, I don't hate analog, I don't love analog. It's just the thing you speak with, it's just the note you make, it's just the visual you're trying to create. However that's created should feel like it's part of our time. I can go, I was going to say to you when you were talking about, you say, you don't go click, 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 click.
Yeah.
You compose and you think and you respond and all that. Have you ever worked on an 8x10 camera or a 10x8 camera?
Yes.
There you get one sheet of film at a time.
Yep.
I worked on a 10x8 camera for 20 years of my
Yeah.
career, and it was beautiful. I often think, I should get the 10x8 camera out now, but it doesn't fit into my life anymore. To do that, I'd have to train a new team of assistants to work with it. I would have to go back to conventional dark rooms. I then have to sort of get a printer on it again. Then I would have to. It just doesn't fit into my life. And so I could really change my life and do that, but it would take so much energy. And really, my photographs aren't supposed to be monuments to put on pedestals. They're conversation. There is long-lasting, or not long-lasting, but there is, it's like photography is just communication. It's just conversation.
Yeah.
We're just talking. And I said to you, what was the best thing you said in 2010? You're thinking, I don't remember.
Yeah.
But you probably said some really important things in 2010 that got you through to 2011.
Well, I actually did the In Your Face in 2010.
Well, there you go. So definitely said some really important things.
Yeah.
But they're not, you don't want to go back and say them again.
No.
You know, now you're going to say something different with different words and a different intonation and a different outlook. Photography and image making should just respond to where the world is now. It's not appropriate to try and pretend that I'm never really liking the idea that people say, oh, it was better in the day. It was so much better, you know, blah, blah, blah. It was different.
I mean, society changes everything.
Society
right?
changes, you know, we've got a whole thing now, you know, what magazines are and whether there's a support for photography anymore or whether, you know, what models do and how the catwalk is. And all of those things have really, really, really changed. Photographers of the 1950s, the models would do their own hair and makeup.
Oh.
You know, and they would have their, you know, there was like kind of a team of 3 people. Now I have 30 people on the shoot.
Yeah.
You know, the makeup artist has like, you know, 4 assistants and the hairdresser has 4 assistants and blah, 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 which is fine. It's a big group thing and it's fine. But it's just different. You know, when I was doing the Yohji Yamamoto catalogs in the early 80s or mid 80s, I had 6 people on set with me and that was it. And that was a lot already.
Beautiful work there.
Well, thank you. We're creating 3D scans of people and we're Gaussian scanning people and, you know, we're creating statues and we're making a still image move through AI and, you know, we're creating sculptures from AI that have been inspired by the picture. You know, one fascinating ways I've been working with AI recently is I work with different AIs and there's one called DALL-E Mini. It's not the same as DALL-E. DALL-E Mini is like the kind of punk little brother of kind of, you know, Midjourney and DALL-E and all those more sort of, DALL-E Mini is like, you can put any prompt in and it won't tell you it's a banned word,
okay,
which is tricky for the other ones.
Yep.
And it's kind of rough and abstract and weird and fucked up. So I use DALL-E Mini to get these weird fucked up, sorry, I didn't misspell.
No.
I get these weird messed up
Yeah.
images and then I put those images through Midjourney and say to Midjourney, can you please rationalize this abstract?
Oh, wow.
So, you know, then you start to get things, and then you say, okay, this thing you've created, can I see that in 3 dimensions? Can I see that as an object I can print?
Yeah.
And then I'm printing out
Wow.
abstracted or rationalized abstractions. So those sorts of things I think are fascinating.
It is fascinating.
You know, that's why, I could go back to working on a 10x8 camera and all the skill and the craft and all the pure photographiness of that. But it's not what I'm excited about. I've done that, I've traveled that, I've been there, it was there for a reason. And now I'm just beginning.
But I don't see it that way, especially the way that you just explained it. I mean, that is a whole new category of creation, right?
Yeah.
And it's exciting.
Yeah, super exciting. I totally hear and understand some of the worries about AI. I don't want to be in a position where I'm just defending AI. I just don't feel that some of the criticism I hear about it is valid. One of the criticisms is that it's just plagiarism, that it's just taking other people's work and serving back up. That's pretty much what we do every time we go to a museum.
Yeah.
That we look at a Renoir and we look at a kind of Man Ray and we look at a, you know, whoever. And we go, okay, that's all great. And it goes into your head.
Yeah,
and then when you're creating, you might pull a bit on that memory of the Renoir and a bit on that memory of the Man Ray and you kind of shuffle them around and they become what a French call données stables, is kind of, you know, the kind of values, you know, values you return to without even thinking, the sort of stable values in your life. Because you're becoming educated in the arts and visual culture and literary and everything else. So you're just automatically pulling on these references you've seen in the museum.
Yeah.
That's not arguably that different to what AI is doing.
I totally agree.
The other thing with AI, it reminds me, not that I was around at the time, but it reminds me of the invention of photography. That when photography first came along in 1860 or whatever it was, the painters were saying, this is just a mechanical process, it'll never have the poetry that the human soul can have, blah, blah. Photography is just a kind of, it's just a, you know, a mechanical thing. And it's very much what you hear about AI, it's not, you know, it can never be the human, blah. So I sort of feel that the debate is there. When photography was first invented, to prove that it was an art form, it started to mimic painting. So the early sort of, 50 years of photography are, what was called the photosuccessionists or the pictorialists, who were people who were trying to make their photographs or creating photographs that looked like paintings. In some cases, they were actually brushing the emulsion onto a glass plate, so they are like it with a paintbrush.
Wow.
There's a very famous picture of the photographer Edward Steichen, one of the greatest photographers. And he's posing as if he's got a kind of cape on, a painter's cape on, and a palette. And actually he's a photographer. So there's obviously a lot of kind of, they were saying, look, we look a bit like, our pictures look like paintings. We look a bit like painters. Obviously we are real artists, and photography is a real art. And then it dawned on them, right about 1930, that actually photography was its own medium, and it didn't need to imitate painting in any form. It could be its own thing, and then you get this advent of modernism in photography, and that's where we are more or less now. AI at the moment is imitating film, imitating photography, etc., to a reasonable amount of skill, but it hasn't become its own medium yet. And my interest in it is in its own inherent medium. My interest in it is being able to put a photograph in there and get a poem out. There's a camera I saw on Instagram the other day where you point the camera and it doesn't give you a picture, it gives you a poem.
That's crazy.
Exactly. It hasn't become what AI is yet. It's still just using itself to look like photography, to look like painting, to look like film, just in the same way that photography tried to imitate painting to prove it was an art form. AI is doing the same thing at the moment. So I don't have the debate within me, and it feels very hard as somebody who's looking for new ways of seeing the world to be shown these possibilities and to be told actually you shouldn't do them. You can put a photograph into this AI and you're going to get a sculpture, but you shouldn't do that. You must not do that. You must continue making sculptures by chiseling away at a block of marble with a chisel or taking the photographs. Why? So I get very excited about the possibilities, and quite naturally, because I'm a creative person. So I want to sort of see the world in ways I can't actually physically see it. I want to sort of reimagine it and see things I can't see. So my feeling, going back to your original question, is that I don't have any problem with the advent of digital. Of course, analog photography is and was great, but it doesn't feel like the language I speak.
I mean, you just were talking about movies. I'm a cinephile. I love movies. I love bad movies. I love great movies. Is there like a top 3 movie list that you keep watching, or do you just kind of?
I love going to Goddard and seeing Goddard.
If you weren't a photographer, do you think you'd be a scientist then? Just judging on the things that we were saying. I know it's a big if question. Right?
I often think I should have been a doctor.
Okay.
I do have moments which actually do not last very long. But when one reflects always on what one's done and what one is doing, and there are times where I thought, you are just creating more unnecessary desire. People wanting things they shouldn't really need. And is that a good thing to have in your life? If you were a doctor, you'd have cured some diseases, you'd have helped people who've got a broken leg or having mental health issues or whatever, and you would have changed life in a better way. Is what you've done really changed? So that's a sort of, you're asking me if I wasn't a photographer. So I have that process where I go through, I think, wow, you're a fashion photographer, come on, you're almost, in some people's eyes, the lowest of the low. You're creating a kind of unnecessary desire for things people can't have. You're forcing inequality, et cetera, et cetera. So I do react slightly against that in what I do. But, Edison, I'm really happy being who I am, doing what I'm doing, and having done what I've done, and going on to do what I'm about to go on to do. So I don't have any real long-lasting regrets or doubts. I wouldn't change anything. I'm not feeling that, in the end, I might have a thought, I should have been a doctor, but I think, actually, you know what?
No, you shouldn't have.
Hopefully, I can create some imagery and create some feelings which are just as important, in a different way, then perhaps that's sort of fine. And I don't know if I've been a very good doctor. So, no, I don't really have an answer to your question of what would I have been or what should I have been if I wasn't a photographer. I'm really, without sounding in any way, and it's not supposed to sound in any way arrogant, I'm very happy being me.
I'm very happy with you being you too.
Good. Well, I'm very happy that you are you too.
Thank you, Nick.
My pleasure.
Appreciate you.
Bro, thank you so much for coming, dude. No, man, we're in New York, man. How does it feel? Feels amazing. It's a dream. I think New York is one of the greatest cities on earth, and just to be able to have Wristcheck be here is honestly a dream come true, and I can't wait to basically start building Wristcheck here.
I mean, you 28, man, you a young hustler, man. I mean, you know, did you ever imagine this to ever happen?
No, bro. I mean, when I started Wristcheck, it was just really trying to fill a gap in the market. I got scammed many times online buying watches. I also got treated like, you know, dirt at the bottom of someone's shoe walking into watch stores. I got called a delivery boy many times. They're like, oh, delivery's over there. And I'm like, dude, I'm trying to, you know, buy a watch, right? And so I was like, this can't be the ecosystem for the next generation, because if I wasn't so passionate about watches, I would have left. I would have gone into maybe art or maybe something else. Right? But I continued to enter watches. I just discovered so many inefficiencies and gaps in the market. And Wristcheck was kind of a manifestation of us trying to, I guess, address those needs.
What makes you better than the other watch guy, do you think?
At the end of the day, it's passion, and it's understanding our clients and really caring about our clients. We're building relationships, lifelong relationships. It's not a one-time sale type thing. It's like, if you're with us, like, you don't need to buy something from us. We'll still take care of you. You can come make an appointment without even wanting to buy a watch, have a great time, have some champagne. That's also okay. For us, it's all about the community, building something long-term, something that can pass down. For us, what separates us is, obviously, from a business side, we're transparent. So with Wristcheck, buyers know what sellers net, sellers know what buyers pay.
Okay.
And so there's no bullshit. You know exactly how much money we make. And I think that's the future of the watch space. And the other thing is, we work with watch brands, right? And so we've done a collaboration with AP, we work with LVMH. And so for us, it's also about bridging the gap between primary and secondary, which I think is quite difficult to do. They're not just in the watch space, in any space in general, right? And I think we're on our way of doing that. And we have an amazing team. And when it comes to hiring, we always need to hire people that, you know, love watches. They need to be able to have the same passion that I have when it comes to this space. And I think we're very successful in doing that. But, you know, I still think there's a lot to do. And I think it's a beautiful, you know, industry. It's 500 years old. And the Apple Watch has kind of brought back attention to the wrist. Right? Yeah. All the headlines are like, hello, Apple Watch, bye bye Rolex. Like, the Swiss watch industry is going to die. Yeah. But for me, it just told me that Apple Watch is just going to kill everything in the same price point as the Apple Watch. But everything else is just going to flourish, because human beings, part of our human nature is wanting to be different. We want to express ourselves. We want to feel good. And wearing that watch, you probably sold that Ferrari in 10 days, but kept the watch because when you had the watch on, it made you feel good. It made you feel like you accomplished something. It was a milestone. Yeah. And you kept it.
It was more like flash.
Exactly.
I don't know. Exactly. I don't know how to explain
it's
it.
Not
obviously,
really,
the watch is
exactly. It's more external.
And it's connected to you. It's like,
exactly.
It's connected to you. It's got like your pulse.
You're touching it all the time. It's a very, very personable item. Yeah,
and I truly believe about the relationship between our bodies and like objects. Mm-hmm. So that's why somehow I feel like AP makes me healthier. It's healthier. I'm serious.
But it's true. It makes you feel good. Yeah. It makes you feel good. You're happier.
Yeah.
You'll be healthier. Right?
Yeah. You know, the number one thing people are afraid of in the watch game is that you are going to buy the watch and then resell the watch.
Yeah.
Right? How do you spot the guy that's like, oh, I just want a quick one?
And in my opinion, secondary is what truly reflects the intrinsic value of a product, because that's what the market is saying this is worth. For you, myself, a lot of people right now, we're wearing hot watches that are really cool. But the reality is 80-90% of watches are below retail. The secondary. And so for us, it goes both ways, right? And so flippers, obviously brands don't like them, but brands publicly say they don't like them, but they still know they kind of need them a little bit, because if there weren't any flippers, there wouldn't be any demand for their products on the secondary, right? And so it's a fine balance, but for us, we don't discriminate. Like, you just come to us. Most of our clientele are just hardcore collectors, or they're people that are just getting into it.
Okay.
And so for us, I want as many people as possible to enter the watch space. Whether you're coming to us for a Moon Swatch or, you know, a $5 million Patek, we have it all. And that's kind of like our purpose. We want to make the space as wide and as possible for anyone, and provide these spaces where they can come, hang out, and chill.
It's funny because, you know, the other day when I went to pick this up, they're like, hey, the box isn't here. Do you mind? I'm like, yeah, because that means I can't. Their faces were like, I'm like, are you fucking serious? I'm going to sell it's so funny right now. I'm sure the whole boutique was like, it was a moment for me. If you can only have one watch, which watch would it be?
It would definitely be this one on my wrist, because this is the watch that my collaboration with AP is beautiful. And thank you. And so it was the watch for China that kind of solidified me in the watch industry, I would say. This watch is a personal thing. It's just like, you know, having a Royal Oak poster in my bedroom when I was growing up and being able to have my own Royal Oak that I designed. And it kind of, allowed me, spurred the relationships with some of our clients, such as Kevin Hart and all of that, because he bought one. And so it's like, this watch is something that would never leave my collection, even though I don't wear it as much as I should.
Yeah.
For the first year, I wore it almost every day. I think this is the first time I've worn it in like a year, but I thought it was appropriate for this interview.
Low key, that's one of my dreams still, to do an AP, bro.
Right?
Shit.
Congrats. No, but don't worry, bro. You've done so much shit that I wish I could have done. So. And so the second watch I would say is probably another AP, which is a piece unique AP. And that piece unique, it's a Grand Sonnery vintage 39 millimeter. And I got this watch last year. It was a watch that I've been searching for 2 years ago. I've been searching for a long time. But when I found it, I got it, and I didn't know when it was made, how many pieces they made. It just said number 1 on the back. And so I bought it because it was beautiful, platinum, open work. I'll show you a photo of it later. Basically, I got the watch, sent it to AP, got the archive papers. And when I got the archive papers, I found out that the watch was made the month that I was born.
Oh, wow.
And in the year that I was born.
Crazy.
And it was a 1 of 1. Like, they only made 1.
That's
and
crazy.
So for me, I was like, fuck, this is like my watch.
Yeah.
And
It's
so,
a fine.
Yeah, it's a fine.
Yeah.
Right? But it was like, I wanted a Grand Sonnery open work AP for a long time. And it happened to be one made in my birth year, birth month, and a 1 of 1. And so that's one of them. Third one is hard, man. The third one changes. That's the thing. It's like, I think those two are the watches that like won't ever leave. The third one is always kind of transient. Right now I'm in a Patek phase. I have like a grail that I don't think I'll own for a very long time because it's really expensive. On the secondary, it's like, I think $2 million. The 5316P, that's like my ultimate Patek grail. And so that's something that hopefully in a few years, one day, hopefully that watch will be in my collection.
You got it, dude. I'm sure.
Yeah.
I'm sure one day, you've been through this and you've been hustling and you've been doing this and putting in work. And then all of a sudden Jay-Z's like, yo, homie, what's up? How does that feel?
No, I mean, having him be an investor and partner in the company was crazy, right?
Because, sorry to break you there, but I have one of the Jay-Z APs.
Oh, fire.
And it came with an
Fire,
iPod.
you with an
bro.
iPod, yes.
With all the
Crazy
songs,
with all
this
the songs
shit,
on
dude.
it.
Right?
So the crazy thing is they initially wanted to engrave the lyrics on the watch.
Oh,
But they couldn't find lyrics without too many swear words
Oh,
and stuff.
yeah.
So they were like, let's just give them an iPod with everything.
yeah.
And so the iPod was engraved, which is fire, right? That collab with Jay-Z, that was the first time that any luxury brand, like not just watch brand, like even like an LVMH
I
fashion
remember,
brand,
man.
ever collaborated with someone from the hip hop world, like officially.
It's so heavy.
Exactly.
It's
You got the
flat.
platinum
Yeah.
one. Oh
yeah.
wow, they only made 10 of those.
Shut up.
They only made 10 of those, bro, in platinum.
I didn't know. I don't know these things, man.
Yeah,
But
I
that's
do.
crazy.
I do.
Now I know. Thank
Now
you.
you know, they only 10 of those, bro.
Shit.
Crazy.
That's wild.
That's wild. And it's wild. I grew up in Shanghai listening to bootleg J music. I'm 99% sure I learned about Audemars Piguet from his lyrics.
Me too.
I didn't know what Audemars Piguet was. If you grow up in Shanghai and you don't come from money, right? You Google that shit.
Yeah.
All my alcohol brands and watch brands and fashion brands, when I was growing up, I learned from rap, basically.
Yeah.
And so to have that come full circle and have him be a partner in the company is honestly incredible. And what he's built at Rock Nation and the ecosystem is also pretty crazy.
Yeah.
And so just excited to be here and to grow.
So, obviously this is a big moment having this space in New York. Is there other in markets or any other things that you're interested in doing, like doing a watch convention or like going to Dubai or some shit?
I have a lot of plans, I think, in the future, but I think in this year, our biggest focus is the US.
Yeah.
And I think America is still, I know America is still the world's largest watch market. For us, a lot of our clients are here. A lot of our clients already think we're an American company, which we are going to be. And so just excited to be here. But of course, the goal is global domination, right? That's the goal. But, I think we'll take it step by step first.
A lot of people ask me, they're like, oh, what are your hobbies and shit, right? And, I think we're very lucky to be able to say my work.
Yeah, exactly.
But when work is the hobby,
Yeah.
what's the new hobby?
I love that. So I think other hobbies are like watches is something that's been a constant. It's like something that like I'm always into. Sometimes I'll like fall really in love with it. I'll fall a little bit out of love with it, but I'm always in love with it. It's just how much I love it. Right now, like I'm into like sunglasses. So like I'm just buying like, you know, just cool, you know, brands from here and there, like boutique, not with any guidance, just buying what I like.
Vintage?
Some vintage, it's like some vintage Cartiers and stuff like that. I also like outside of collecting and stuff, like I like Bitcoin, like I like that type of stuff. I do think that's like the future of finance in that sense. Yeah. And so for me, it's like I'm still learning about watches, because it's like the watch industry is like, there's so many facets, right? It's like you see the watches, but then there's a business behind it. We work with brands, so there's that side, and then we in the secondary, and there's that side, and then there's the different types of customers. There's like the Jay-Z types, the Kevin Hart types, and then there's the person that bought a $500 Moose watch. And so it's hard to detach from work, but I also think it's because I'm still in the process of being 100% just building. And so it's hard for me to pick up any other hobbies. I would say another hobby, honestly, on the weekend when I'm not working, is I just sleep. Sleep and eat.
Yeah, because you got the Asian and American time zone, crash, right?
Exactly. I'm looking to, you know, hopefully if I spend more time in the US, hopefully get more into cars. Like I love driving. And so if I spend more time in the US, hopefully cars. I love cars. How about yourself?
My hobbies?
Yeah.
My daughter, man.
Daughter.
Yeah, man, my family right now. I mean, like it's weird. I go to farmers markets and like find random vegetables and fruits and shit. It sounds crazy, but like I've been able to find some wild ass shit. Like 2 weeks ago, I found pink blueberries. So they're blueberries, but they're pink, right? And I walked up to them. I'm like, "Hey, what are these?" And they're like, "They're blueberries." I'm like, "No, they're not.
Oh,
They're
berries.
pink." Yeah. Right? They're like, "No, they're blueberries." I'm like, "Okay, give me 6 of them." Yeah, so I'm having fun enjoying. Yo, man,
Crazy.
Oh my God,
I
it
need to
tastes
find
like
some pink
rose,
blueberries.
lemonade, blueberry. Wow.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So I'm into that world right now, and it's very interesting because you know at the same time it's like, you know, it's like, oh, let's go buy some eggs.
Yeah.
Right? But there's the Audemars eggs, and then there's the Swatch eggs.
Swatch
You know,
eggs.
and
Of course.
it's like understanding that about life is very interesting, because I never, you know, you don't grow up aspiring to buy the best eggs.
Yeah,
you know?
exactly. That's blueberries.
Yeah. So it's been fun just trying to, you know, stay hungry somehow.
Yeah.
You know, like I don't mean like for money. I mean like, you know, to interest.
Yeah,
you know, and
just
I feel like you know that Japanese way of thinking is like, if you don't wake up with intent and you don't have community and all these things, like you will die earlier.
Yeah.
You know, so I'm trying to keep active like that. You know,
I like that.
yeah. Los Angeles is a good place. I hope you can come.
Hope so.
And next time you come, I got to bring you out.
Yes.
I don't got a Ferrari to loan you,
Nah, we're good.
but I got some places to bring
I
you.
was liming around, you know?
Yo, lastly, man, I got to tell you this crazy story.
Yeah.
And we may have to weep after.
Okay.
Like, we'll cry collectively.
Okay.
Because
Ready.
feels fucking sad about it, just talking. Okay. Long time ago, I'm friends with Hiroshi Fujiwara, right? And he says to me, "Hey, do you collect watches?" I'm like, "No, I just own this one rose gold skeleton."
Yeah.
Right? Because I really wasn't. You know, I probably bought like the green face Rolex, like out of like fad, and it just left it on the side or something and gave it to a friend or something, you know? And he goes, "No, you should have a look at these watches, because one of my friends is selling his watches." And I said, "Okay, cool. Show it to me." So he shows me this like, because back then it was like, you know, this early, like 2004, it's like a clear folder with like pictures and shit, you know what I mean? So he goes through it, and he lands on this page, and I go, "Hold on, I would like to ask about this watch, because I love Cartier."
Yeah.
So through this PDF,
I'm already guessing.
I bought a Paul Newman Cartier. This from like the listen. So I bought this shit, and I found out whose watch it was. I said, "All right, Hiroshi, I'm gonna buy this watch.
Yeah.
Just tell me who's selling the watches." And he goes, "Eric Clapton is trying to buy a yacht that a helicopter can land on. And he's selling some of his watches for the thing." And I said, "I'm buying it." I bought it. Unfortunate things happened to me in 2008. And I had to leave Hong Kong in a whim.
Yeah.
through that process, my watch got snubbed. Yeah, absolutely. Oh my God. Guys, we need 10 seconds of silence for this. Oh no.
Yeah, bro. So I'll find you a photo of me rocking it before.
Oh my God. A Cartier stamped Paul Newman.
Yeah, so rest in peace and
R.I.P.
whoever has that, because I didn't document it because I'm
Yeah,
young, I'm 24,
yeah,
I didn't know like,
exactly.
oh, the serial
Yeah.
number, whatever.
Oh my God.
So it's
bro.
floating somewhere, and I don't know. I have a storage in Hong Kong still, so I'm like this,
Yeah.
like this.
I'll come search it with you in Hong
Bro,
Kong.
man, because it's not even just about the like, someone's like, you know how much that watch is worth? And I'm like, no, don't tell me.
Yeah.
Don't
That's
tell
why I
me.
didn't say
Don't tell
anything.
me.
I have an idea. I'm
But
not
the
gonna say
story
anything.
of it is like, like Eric,
Yeah,
Hiroshi, my
Hiroshi,
boss, I
crazy.
bought this watch. So I've never told that story in like 15 years.
Oh, wow.
And,
I love
I
that.
thought that it would be appropriate for me to tell you this one.
I appreciate it, bro. It's a sad story, but it's an amazing one.
Let's
bro.
go fish for it, man.
Let's
And
go.
maybe
Let's
one
go find
day,
it.
after we see the photo, I'll set myself a goal and I'll be like, next year I gotta do these jobs and I'm gonna buy that watch back, and maybe
Exactly.
you can help me with
And
it.
I'll find it for you.
You the man. Thank you.
Thank you, bro. Thank you, bro.